what you said about this set of events. What I'm thinking we're going to see is less event-driven and more action-driven. And what I mean by that is this. The bamboo thing. What do those bamboo developments need? How can we step into that? The thing Lisa and I are doing in Colombia, what can we do with pyrolysis? Because it's something that is happening, that's being done, that allows us to support things now that we can help shift into scaling it. Like, that's the issue now, is we need to stop talking and step into things that have any kind of hope and help to bring our talents, our resources, our intelligence, whatever it is, into something to help it scale, right? So the project that we're involved in was a very small project, and now it's risen to a much different kind of orientation and scale. How would that look like for us to step in more rather than create yet another conversation, another conference, something else like that?
Well, in respect of the bamboo, there's a young crowd that are building the first village and have built the first village and factory. There are 8 or 9 of them. I sat and did their business plan. They need to activate that village and build the first, let's say, 1,800 cubic meters of bamboo planks and whatever. It needs $4 million. One of the things that we can do is to say, okay, let's first advise those guys. I can how do we get them engaged in our group, or how do we actually, as a group, actually get engaged in them? How do we, as 3 or 4 people, say we want to be on your advisory board for free?
So that's exactly right. So what we have now seen in a few cases, Lisa and I have, particularly in the agricultural space, in the space that grows things, whether it's bamboo or whatever they are growing, right, is that people are not yet fully aware of the possibility of carbon credits, real carbon money. So, for example, a company called Frontier is funding projects like that. If you can show that you're drawing down X thousand tons of CO2, they will pre-purchase, they will commit, they won't pre-purchase, but they will commit to, well, if they understand what it is, and I can send you the information, they will commit to X million dollars for whatever you're saying you're going to deliver in terms of carbon capture and sequestration. When you do that, you can then go to venture capitalists and say, look, Frontier is funding us $50 million, fronting us, like they're committing to giving us $50 million for the output from our work. That gives a venture capitalist a lot of, it's much more interesting to fund something like that than if there's not a $50 million carrot. Do you see what I'm saying? And yes. So we have now been involved in 2 different projects where that has changed the nature of how those 2 companies have thought about themselves in terms of what is it we're actually doing, right? They thought they were basically growing something. And we said, well, but by growing it and sequestering it, you are eligible for that kind of money. And it changed everything, right? It changes the conversation, it changes the strategy, it changes the capacity to raise money. So things like that would be extremely interesting. It goes right with Lisa's point about carbon brain and carbon stewardship.